There's a woman in Polk County who said she's forced to sell her property because her property taxes went up, get this,
174%.
She also claims to say that now it is way too expensive for her to afford her home. Now, I don't know a whole lot about it, about what the background about this. I couldn't find out too much, and it really doesn't matter. At the end of the day, she's in a situation where she can no longer afford her home. But the part that caught my attention was she said she felt like it was a bait and switch.
Oh, bait and switch.
I don't know who she feels is responsible for this situation she's in, but it kind of sounds like she doesn't feel she is. And I know oftentimes people like to blame either the lender or the real estate agent. We're not financial advisors. We're not financial planners. Our job is to get you into the home. You come to us, you want to purchase a home, and that's what we do to help you. Now, I'm not saying she particularly is saying it was one of us. Maybe it was a new home build. And what happens when you buy a new home, I think they're great deals. I honestly do. But you have to be aware when you are purchasing a newly built home, you are paying taxes on the dirt. They go a year back. And the builder and their agent will tell you that. Whether you choose to hear that or not is up to you. So say you had a new home built and you're one of the first properties in there, and it takes a while to finish building all the other homes. Well, your first is built on, your property taxes are on the dirt. And then the following year, the property assessor is going to come out and they're going to assess the values of the homes out there. And that's basically how they're going to determine your property taxes. So if the property taxes keep going up year after year, that could be why hers went up 174%. That could be a big part of it. When the value of the property goes up, the property taxes go up too. Now, say you're purchasing an older home, then you may also think your taxes are going to be low. For example, I have a friend that reached out to me a few years ago, and she said, I want to sell my home I've been in for over 30 years, and I want to move from the mainland side in Daytona Beach to the beach side in a condo where it is a little more expensive. So I said to her right away, I said, you do realize your taxes are going to go up. She did know this. She knew that. She's like, yes, I know they're going to go up considerably, because get this. I just confirmed before shooting this video to make sure I remembered correctly what she was paying. She was paying $185 a year in property taxes. $185. Because there's a cap on how much the state will raise your taxes every year. And because she had been in that property for over 30 years, it had only gone up to $185 a year. It wasn't the greatest in neighborhoods. So she went to an okay home, to an amazing place. Her taxes are, of course, now in the thousands. She knew that going in, but somebody that's looking, maybe didn't know this, and checked to see what the current owner is paying in taxes, may be misled. And then there's another reason you may not be able to afford your mortgage because your taxes have gone up. So if your taxes have gone up and then the insurance goes up and then, just everything, inflation, this is sometimes why people can't afford the mortgage. I believe many people want to hear what they want to hear. I could have made a small fortune in 2022, 2023, when the interest rates were about 6%. They introduced some new products, the lending did. They came out with the 2-1 buy downs and the 3-2-1 buy downs. And if I would have pushed those products, I could have probably got a lot more people into a lot more properties. But that's not the way I work. I am not comfortable with it, and I would not suggest it for anybody else that I feel could be priced out. Yes, this can be a good deal. I'm not discrediting it, especially if the seller goes ahead and pays for it, but it's not good for everyone. And again, that's where you need to know what you can afford as the buyer. Do not be misled. Don't hear just what you want to hear and then go ahead and try and blame somebody else when you can't afford your home. The 3-2-1 buy down, for example, here's just an example, and these numbers may not work, but it's just to give you a little more insight about it, is say you went out, you got pre-approved for a home for $300,000, and your payment's going to be $2,000 a month, and you're like, that's just way too much. I can't afford it. Because in your mind you had, I can comfortably afford $1,000 a month. And then someone comes along and says, hold on, I can get you a 3% interest rate. Your payments then will be $1,000 a month. And you're like, that's exactly what I wanted to hear. I love it. I'm going to go with it. Because the 3-2-1 buy down is the first year, it is at 3%, then second year 2%, and then the third 1%, and then the fourth year, boom, it's at whatever the current rate is. Nobody knows what it's going to be the fourth year on, and it could be 7, 8, 9%. It could be like now 7%. You went from 3 to 7. That could price you out of what you can comfortably afford. And you may have even been told, oh, don't worry. You can refinance when the time comes. Can you? Well, what if the interest rate is still really high and it doesn't make sense to refinance? Or what if you don't qualify? You can't just refinance. You have to qualify all over again. If you had some significant changes in your lifestyle, you may not qualify to refinance. These are things you need to know. That could be a whole other video. And I'm sorry if I'm making some people a little upset. I'm sure I'll get some comments below, but I'm just trying to pull back the curtain, stop blaming others, and own up to it. I'm tired of seeing on social media where everyone's blaming the agent and the lender. We can't control what you do after you close. After you close on your property and you decide to go out and buy a brand new car, that's on you. Or say you decide to have a couple babies and your daycare is $1,500 a month. Or you get a divorce or change jobs or whatever. And now you can't afford your payments. That's on you. We can't tell you how to manage your money or plan for it. Again, lender nor the agent is in that business. Now, after the last housing market crash back in 2008, before I got licensed, I remember seeing all over, people are like, I can't afford my home, the market's crashing, these agents and lenders just threw us in and this and that. And truthfully, I think a lot of it did happen. There's proof that there was all kinds of lending that shouldn't have been happening. You could fog a mirror and get a loan, and people are just throwing in people everywhere, just making all kinds of money. Again, that was before I got my license in 2011. But the only reason I mention that is to let you know there's things in place now that can no longer happen. No matter how hard the agent tries to be unethical or the lender tries to just get your loan through, it's different. You can't. First off, you get 2 disclosures. You get one within 3 days of your application, and it goes over all your loan requirements, everything that's going on. You also get a second one 3 days before closing, laying out everything. And guess what? Especially after the first one you get, you have to read, say you read and understand every page and initial those pages and sign. And if you sign that and you didn't understand it, that's on you. You need to know. Not only do they have that, but they have people to help counsel you if you have any questions. There's counselors in this packet. There's educational courses. Also, if an attorney is handling the closing, ask them anything you don't understand. Again, right before you close, you'll get another disclosure. Then at closing, the attorney or who's ever handling the closing is going to go over this disclosure and say, this is the one we sent to you 3 days ago. Have you had a chance to read it? And you'll be like, yes. Do you understand? Is there anything you don't understand? And you're like, no, just, I want to sign. Where's my keys? Where's my keys? And then you sign it, okay? Now you're super excited. You got into a home at the $1,000 a month you were wanting, 3% interest, and you get instant amnesia, forgetting that these payments are going to change, that truly you couldn't really afford it. So when that happens, don't try to be like back in '08 and blame everyone else. No, there's policy and practices in place, education, all kinds of great stuff for you as the buyer, as a consumer, to fully understand what you are signing. Again, if you choose not to do that, that's on you. And if you choose to go out and charge all this stuff afterwards, that's on you too. I'm not trying to be rude and be like, everything's you, but you got to own up to it, okay? Listen, when I bought my condo, it's been a year now since I bought it, and I've done this with other homes I bought in. As soon I closed in the morning, like I always do. I think by that evening, around 6 or 7 at night, I had about $6,500 on my credit card between going out and buying furniture and hitting send on my Amazon cart. I had all this stuff waiting to just go. Once I closed, my lender could not have controlled that. They have no control over that. That was up to me to put that on there and still be able to maintain paying my mortgage and not going behind on my payments. Now, do I think this will bring on a wave of foreclosures? No, not at all. If you're struggling, here's tip number one. Go ahead, reach out to your lender, let them know. Say, hey, I'm having a hard time paying my payment. And they may be like, oh, do you want me to throw it on the end of your loan? And you'll be like, okay, yeah, that gives me a little break. And then they're probably going to ask you, are you struggling with any future payments? What can we do to get you through this? Because the thing is, when they do all that aggravating, asking for all the papers and qualifying you throughout the mortgage process, getting the loan, and then right before closing, they do it again to make sure you haven't racked up your credit cards, you haven't quit your job. They're doing that because they want you to succeed. They don't want to foreclose on you. Nobody wants to do that. Get that out of your mind if that's what you think. They want you to just continue paying your loan till you can pay it off. Another tip I have is be careful about being enticed about these adjustable rate mortgages, these buy downs and everything. Again, it can be a good deal, but is it a good deal? Is it right for you? Are you going to be able to weather the storm once it's over with? Are you going to be able to refinance? If the interest rates haven't come down for a few more years, are you going to be okay? Nobody knows, no matter what they tell you, nobody knows what's going to happen. I wish we did. If I knew that right now, life would be so good. As of this recording, it's still 7%. Take into consideration the full cost of owning a home, not just your mortgage payment. A lot of people will have rolled into that their homeowners insurance and their taxes. Both of those can always go up, don't forget. And normally they do, which then increases what most people just refer to as their mortgage payment. So consider like where you're purchasing your property at, and what kind of, if it's an older property or new property. This all helps with insurance. Again, that could be a whole other video. Oh, and by the way, I'm out at Sugar Mills here in beautiful Port Orange today. How about that guy behind me? Fun fact, it used to be tried to be a little dinosaur park. Beautiful park if you're in the area. Highly recommend it. Donations only. Please don't prioritize getting the house you want over what you can afford, over your financial terms. And be responsible. Understand the lending terms before signing. If you don't fully understand or something doesn't feel right, ask an expert. Please remember, lenders and real estate agents are not attorneys. We are not allowed to give legal advice, but we do know a lot that can help guide you in this process, especially an experienced one. And if you are looking for one in your area, whether you're moving to or leaving Florida, anywhere in the United States, I have a huge network of agents. Go ahead and fill out the form below. So that's it. I know some of you are going to be pretty upset about this video. I'm sorry that I'm not sorry, because this is the truth. I'm just trying to bring you the cold hard facts here. Thanks for watching. See you on the next one.